Bitter criticism. The broad episode, 47 minutes. The broad 47. Broad 47 minutes reading news. But I'm going to take back Tommy. Tommy's all alone over there. I was thinking about another thing I didn't read today, but I don't remember now. Luckily Tommy was near, so he's right here with me. Tommy. Well, I don't remember what I was going to read. I was about to read maybe Cgtn. Yeah, let's start with Cgtn. I just saw this AQ ranking. They were saying that Japanese, Taiwanese people from Singapore, Finland, they are the most intelligent people in the world. Maybe, who knows? Top 5 from the highlights, Cgtn. There's a lot of videos, social media, a lot of Chinese videos. They are always doing these smart things. Actually, Chinese people are smart, I guess. World, December 3rd, China proposed BRI, a game changer for the global economy. A photograph here from a high-speed train of the Jakarta-Bandung high-speed railway in operation. Purwakarta, Indonesia. Launched in 2013, the China proposed Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, which started as a bold vision to revitalize ancient trade routes. Ancient trade routes has evolved into a massive framework for international cooperation, bolstering local economies, improving people's livelihoods, and forging deeper cultural and diplomatic bonds across the globe. The BRI focuses on connecting regions through infrastructure projects, including highways, railways, ports, and airports. Since its inception, over 150 countries and 30 international organizations, primarily from the developing world, have signed cooperation agreements with China. By constructing key infrastructure such as railways, highways, ports, power grids, and communication networks, the BRI has significantly improved infrastructure in developing nations, boosting trade efficiency and facilitating industrial upgrades. The initiative has also generated substantial employment opportunities and economic growth while enhancing sustainable development through technology transfer and capacity building, making a lasting contribution to inclusive global economic progress. According to a World Bank report, the BRI has led to a 4.1% increase in trade among participating countries, a 5% increase in foreign investment, and a 3.4% rise in GDP for low-income countries. Additionally, the report states that benefiting from Belt and Road BRI, the GDP share of emerging and developing economies in the world grew by 3.6% from 2012 to 2021, with forecasts suggesting that the BRI will generate $1.6 trillion in global revenue annually by 2030, contributing 1.3% to global GDP. That's not too much. Oh, but it will generate by 2030. Yeah. Well, I was watching a video that the EU, they want to do something like that with Middle East, with the Middle East region and India. They want to do the same thing with India through the Middle East, and the Middle East is just only winning. Is only winning. And there's a photograph here, a view of Shanghai port in Shanghai, Peru, November 12, 2024. Elevating local economies. In Peru, the construction of Shanghai port serves as a striking example of how the BRI is transforming local economies. Located about 80 kilometers north of Lima, Shanghai is poised to become one of the largest ports in the region thanks to China's investment. When operational, the port will accommodate the world's largest cargo ships, handle up to 1.5 million 20-foot equivalent units (TEUs) annually, and significantly reduce shipping times. The first phase of the project will reduce the sea shipping time from Peru to China to 23 days, cutting logistics costs by at least 20%. The port will not only benefit Peru, but also serve as a regional logistics hub for all Latin America. Businesses from countries such as Brazil, Venezuela, Bolivia, Paraguay, and Argentina will rely on the port as a key departure point for trade with Asia. Chile has its own port, like San Antonio. On the other side of the world, the story of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, offers another compelling example of how the BRI is revitalizing local economies and improving people's livelihoods. Spanning from Juwadar Port, Pakistan's southwestern region, to China Xinjiang, CPEC involves a massive investment of over $46 billion in roads, railways, power plants, and pipelines. The corridor aims to transform Pakistan into a central hub for trade and commerce. Pakistan has long struggled with inadequate infrastructure, unreliable electricity, and poor transportation networks. The construction of modern roads and railways has, however, opened up vital trade routes, slashing travel times between cities and facilitating faster movement of goods, which is crucial not only for internal trade but also for Pakistan's access to international markets, especially in Central Asia and China. Besides, frequent power outages in Pakistan have hindered its development, while CPEC's energy projects are providing much needed power to industries and homes. With an improved power supply, local industries have expanded and businesses can operate at full capacity, creating jobs and reducing poverty. Quote, the CPEC is an opportunity granted to Pakistan by history. and such an opportunity may come only once in several centuries, said, quote unquote, said Hassan Iqbal Chaudhary, Minister for Planning, Development and Special Initiatives of Pakistan. And there's a photograph. A China invested photovoltaic power station in the Bahawalpur region of Punjab province, Pakistan. Subtitle: Optimizing Global Governance. The BRI's influence extends beyond infrastructure, also contributing to global governance and sustainable development. To expand channels and platforms for investment and financing, China has founded the establishment of the Silk Road Fund and established the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, AIIB, along with other participating countries. These serve as a supplement to other multilateral financing institutions and help bridge financial gaps in improving infrastructure in developing countries. Official data shows that since its inception, AIIB has financed over 200 projects in sectors like transportation, energy, water management, and urban development in more than 30 countries, with a total investment exceeding $40 billion. By providing stable long-term funding, the AIIB has improved infrastructure, supported green energy transitions, addressed climate change in developing countries, and contributed to a fairer and more equitable global economic system. As global trade faces headwinds from unilateralism, protectionism, and geopolitical tensions, experts say the China Proposed Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, helped optimize global development and global governance. Kevin P. Gallagher, Director of Global Development Policy Center at Boston University, said that the all-around progress in BRI cooperation is recognized internationally, and that it not only increased connectivity through energy and infrastructure construction and unlocked growth potentials, but also expanded energy access for the poor across the world. He highlighted that the BRI brought great benefits to the global south and the global economy, and contributed to healthy economic globalization. That was a huge article by the top 5 from the highlights from today, December 3rd. There's a news about empowering lives, China's support for people with disabilities. And there's the last one. UN raises concerns over fighting in Syria. But I'm not interested in anything like that. There's a news of geopolitics of Taiwan. Graphics. Politics, December 3rd. Graphics, Taiwan's historical and legal status as part of China, is a short 1-minute news. A Chinese mainland spokesperson has voiced firm opposition to Lan Xinte's U.S. stopover during his trip to so-called diplomatic allies in the Pacific. When Binhua, spokesperson for the State Council Taiwan Affairs, Taiwan Affairs Office emphasized on Sunday that no matter what tactics lie and Taiwan's Democratic Progressive Party (DPP) authorities use to advance their Taiwan secession agenda, they will not shake the firm international commitment to the One China principle, nor stop the overriding historical trend toward China's reunification. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lin Jian reiterated China's stance on Monday, saying China firmly opposes any form of official interaction between the US and the Taiwan region, and firmly opposes any form of US moves to aid or abet Taiwan secessionists and their secessionist activities. The timelines below present historical and legal facts showing that Taiwan is an integral part of China. The graphic is too small, I cannot see it. But there's a graphic here. I cannot read it because it's not opening. But anyway, my elbow my elbow is pain. I have pain in my elbow because of this position here. I will read the last one from Cgtn. Economy, December 3rd. China firmly opposes US semiconductor export control measures. A short one again. And there's a photograph. Office building of China's Ministry of Commerce, Beijing, China. China's Ministry of Commerce on Monday strongly criticized the United States, US, for its latest semiconductor export control measures, accusing Washington of saying one thing and doing another. In its approach to trade, and of using national security as a pretext to impose unilateral sanctions that disrupt global markets. In a statement, a ministry spokesperson condemned the US for, quote, abusing export control measures, unquote, and expanding the concept of national security in ways that threaten the stability of global supply chains. Quote, the US has seriously obstructed normal international trade relations and undermined market rules and the international economic order, the spokesperson said, adding that China firmly opposes such sanctions, unquote. The comments came in response to the UN announcement earlier in the day of additional semiconductor export controls against China. The new measures impose stricter restrictions on the export of semiconductor manufacturing equipment and ships to China, while also adding 136 Chinese entities to Washington's export control list. The US control measures further extend its jurisdiction by interfering with trade between China and third-party countries, a move that China described as, quote, economic coercion and non-market behavior. And that's it. Let's see what Pepe Escobar is saying in Pepe Escobar Telegram. Pepe Escobar 110 updates, didn't say none of them. Let's read some of the direct posts from the Telegram itself, like this one. Bust us, chat stickers, geopolitics live, geopolitics lives. Geopolitics Live. Securing the seas, making breakthroughs for trade. Russia's unique nuclear icebreaker fleet. December 3rd is Nuclear Icebreaker Fleet Day, the professional holiday of the operators of Russia's unique in the world heavy nuclear-powered icebreaking vessels. Russia's uncontested supremacy in the frozen seas began on December 3rd, 1959, with the commissioning of the Lenin nuclear icebreaker, a symbol of the nation's technological and scientific primacy in the north. 65 years on, Russia has remained faithful to these Arctic ambitions, being the only country on Earth operating a sizable detachment of nuclear-powered icebreakers. 7 today and 4 more, the Yakutia, the Chukotka, the Leningrad and Stalingrad on the way. That's on top of Russia's fleet of 34 diesel-powered icebreakers. Together, the country has more icebreakers than the rest of the world combined. And it certainly needs them, given its ambitious plans to forge a major new Europe-Asia trade route known as the Northern Sea Route. The need to secure the region against NATO incursions and to develop new energy, port and other infrastructure. I wonder if, yeah, that would be a nice play, a nice move, because if this route is really open, it will be cheaper, and so the UN and everybody will use this route. They will be complicated, geopolitically speaking, you know. There will be even more tensions there. And there's an article. Just like that, there's an article there. globalsouth.co. This article is from Controlled Chaos, the blue something. Controlled Chaos, the blueprint for redrawing the Middle East West, the Middle East West Asia. I don't know who wrote this, but I'm going to read it and then we'll find out. December 2nd, 2024, in inspiration. I have written in few chronicles on chaos creation, suggesting that chaos is a strategy. In one of these, empire, the strategy, the tactics. I noted at the time that it is hard to judge how much energy the West still has to create chaos and destabilization. It is impossible to say if we are at a pinnacle. As you can see from the categorization of terrorist groups in Syria, the strategy of chaos becomes clearer, and we can attempt to answer the question. The basic analysis following is from Massem A. Nakach, who describes himself as an analyst, thinker, strategist. While we speak about the region known as the Middle East, I will broaden that. Quote, no, this is a subtitle. Introduction. We can see the full picture. Can we see the full picture? The Middle East is on fire. Gaza bleeds under siege. Lebanon stands on the brink. Syria is drowning in chaos. Yemen is buried in blood. And Iraq and Iran remains at the heart of the storm. First, why do all these disasters align so perfectly? Second, why has Twitter suddenly embraced free speech in the middle of Gaza's massacre? Third, Who benefits from this fog of war that covers the region? This isn't chaos. It's a chaos board where every move is deliberate. Chaos as a tool, a calculated redesign of the region. That looks like chaos. What looks like chaos is carefully orchestrated. Is a carefully orchestrated plan, each piece serving a larger agenda. Yeah, I definitely know. I will not say you why, but I have a perfect example of how chaos is a good business in education, let's say. But anyway, Gaza first. What looks like chaos is carefully orchestrated. What looks like chaos is a carefully orchestrated plan, each piece serving a larger agenda. First, Gaza genocide disguised as self-defense, erasing borders with tanks and massacres. Second, Lebanon provoking Hezbollah to ignite a war that drains their resistance. Third, Syria reviving armed factions to justify US and Israeli interference. Fourth, Yemen systematic attrition to isolate the Houthis and dismantle their resistance. 5. Iraq escalating strikes on US bases to shift the balance of power. 6. Iran economic strangulation and isolation aimed at breaking the backbone of the resistance. This isn't a series of separate conflicts. It's one interconnected operation aimed at reshaping the Middle East. It is inadvertently shaping up as the first BRICS war. Subtitle: The Axis of Resistance, the Last Line of Defense. Why are Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, Iraq, and Iran always targeted? Because together they are the last barrier against a new colonial project. Gaza, the blood of Palestinians fuels the story of liberation. Lebanon, Hezbollah remains Israel's greatest military and psychological deterrent. Syria, the bridge that connects Iran to Lebanon and Palestine. Iraq, militia forces rewrite the rules of engagement with the US. Yemen, the Houthis have turned poverty into a weapon stronger than oil. Iran, the core of the resistance, its mind and its logistics. This isn't a war of nations, it's a war on the very idea of resistance. In other words, the empire is lashing back. Subtitle: Economic warfare, hunger and economic warfare, hunger as a weapon of war. This war isn't just fought with bullets. Sometimes starvation is the weapon of choice. Gaza, the siege kills children more slowly than bombs, but just as surely. Lebanon, the collapse of the currency aims to erode public support for the resistance. Syria, the Caesar Act sanctions crippled the nation's ability to rebuild after war. Yemen, millions starve in a global silence, treated as numbers, not people. Iran, economic sanctions target the lifeline of the entire axis of resistance. Hunger is the quiet killer, and today it's one of the most powerful weapons of war. It is not hunger per se, but is economic war. Subtitle again. Well, I didn't like much this kind of list thing by topics. Anyway, let's go. Gulf betrayal, normalization, and the fracturing of the Arab world. Israel occupation isn't the only knife in the heart of this region. The Gulf's normalization deals are the betrayal from within. In Iraq, they supported US occupation with open wallets. In Yemen, they bankrolled a war that devastated an entire people. In Palestine, they signed normalization agreements that opened the gates to the enemy. Normalization isn't peace, it's treason signed and sealed. Cultural erasure, a war of memory and identity. The battle isn't just for land, it's for history and identity. In Jerusalem, efforts to Judaize Al-Aqsa Mosque and erase the city's Islamic character. In Palestine, just one second, I have a message. In Palestine, stealing the kifye, the cuisine, and the heritage, presenting it as Israeli. Well, that's small potatoes, you know, who knows? Well, Palestinian people, they should fly away to and come here to Chile, you know. In Jerusalem, efforts to Judaize Al-Aqsa Mosque and erase the city's Islamic character. In Yemen and Syria, destroying historical and religious landmarks to erase cultural roots. The occupation doesn't just kill the body, it insists on killing the soul. Technology and AI, the new front line of control. Israel's war isn't only fought with tanks, it's fought with technology designed for domination. Pegasus, spyware that infiltrated the phones of activists, politicians, and even heads of state, turning every device into an intelligence tool. Facial recognition, a tool used to monitor and suppress Palestinians at checkpoints and beyond. Twitter campaigns, armies of fake accounts flood social media to distort narratives and spread disinformation. Subtitle again. Modern war doesn't need soldiers. Algorithms can suffocate resistance. Twitter. A battlefield disguised as free speech. Yeah. Twitter, let's read this. This is interesting, yeah. Free speech, unquote, on Twitter isn't freedom. It's a weapon in the hands of the powerful, flooding Palestinian voices with fake, biased or misleading content. Yeah, that happened a lot to me on YouTube, for example. I guess, well, I had this idea, of course, I have no money for nobody, but maybe if you make a donation for Palestinians, you are feeding the economic system nevertheless, you know? So you are supporting Israel. By giving money to Palestine, you are supporting Israel. Anyway, silencing resistance narratives through coordinated smear campaigns, normalizing horror, bombard the world with so much violence that it becomes mundane. Yeah. This is Noam Chomsky, Theodor Adorno, isn't it? The spectacle society. Twitter isn't a neutral platform. It's a battlefield for psychological warfare. COVID, another subtitle. I don't know if this is so big. Yeah, it's huge, but it's nice. And I don't know who wrote this. Was this Pepe? Well, I have no time. No, don't have 1 hour. This will take me 2 hours. I just have more 2 minutes or more 10 minutes. But I'm going to read a little more. COVID, a global experiment in control. Maybe it's Pepe Escobar. How does COVID fit into this web of chaos? First, it offers a real-world trial for mass surveillance and tracking. Yeah, again, Chile. My first example. I didn't say why chaos is such a nice business, but COVID is such a nice business to control the uncontrolled, unplanned chaos, because of also again Chile. Anyway, second, it distracted the worldwide. Israel expanded settlements and bombed Syria. Third, it weakened resistance economies, leaving them more vulnerable to sanctions. COVID wasn't just a pandemic, it was a stage for perfecting global control mechanisms. Most of my readers know me for my COVID research and stands anyway to theirs and stands anyway to, so there's that. Maybe it's Pepe. Subtitle: A War for Existence. This isn't just a war on borders, it's a war on existence itself. The resistance doesn't just defend land, it defends dignity. Normalizing isn't diplomacy, it's betrayal. Chaos isn't random, it's a strategy to erase us. The chaos is deliberate and the fire is calculated. We get back to the question of how much energy this empirical force still has to reshape the world of resistance, and with that descriptor I mean BRICS and SCO and the other new organizations set up to create a new civilizational phase. To answer that, even partially, we need to take a look at the main trends. First, the Ukraine war is being kept alive artificially with an astounding kill rate of those forced to fight and many external fighters brought in. The planning is done externally. There is no cost too high for empire, and this war is continually pumped up with fresh energy by the likes of the EU and NATO, the UK and US. told from the new administration in the US that they will end this war is almost comical. Yeah, they have no idea how to. And this and the eventual aim is Iran. Second, Georgia should have fizzled out. It is being kept artificially active and now violent and pumped up with fresh energy using agitators from outside. Third, Syrians are not at war with themselves. The Takfiri and not Takfiri forces are from all over the world. One faction paid by Zion and the US, and the other factions paid by Turkey. Again, we see the external artificial nature of creating the obstacles of resistance. 4. The battlefield is always uneven. As we can see from Russia, they either need to destabilize force because they cannot deal with a peer competitor economically and or kinetically. 5. Adding to the list is the advent of Trump. I will hypothesize that he is there to again bring a fresh impetus to the fight against resistance and keep the local population in the heart of the empire happy and enthusiastic as a source of external influences that can be sent in at a moment's notice where resistance shows itself. Existence are years-old sleeper cells, as we see now in Syria. We know that NED and USAID and a plethora of think tanks are creators of keeping empire strong. This is the work of empire, and it is not productive excepting for empire to consistently have another pool to loot. Elon Musk tried to bring down the Brazilian legal structure. He now has placed much money on the table to literally color revolutionize the UK and get Nigel Farage elected to keep the allies strong. Trump's picks for his new administration are the super rich. And I have no time for the end. I guess I'm going to try a little bit, but I guarantee I don't have time. I will hypothesize that the heart of the empire is now firmly seated in the US. The rest, yapping poodles. There is no real production, and people are generally not employed in productive enterprise except in the middle class and smaller businesses. As we could see in the last week, the production is placed elsewhere, and even the Mexican president could threaten. You tariff us, we tariff right back. This is quite unprecedented. The whole of the US and its education system is focused on one or the other type of political science or international relations. Smoothie keeps us aware of this. There is no strong philosophy, and Christianity is seated in mega churches with mega rich church leaders. Countries such as Venezuela are under continuous empire attack. The working class will be sent back to their exploited countries, where hunger and economic warfare will exploit them further. The focus and the productive work is on expanding the playbook with tactics and methods for control. The threats to expose Diddy and Epstein's list and the FBI are fresh meat to the population to keep them in a high and continuous state of excitement and pretend a civilizational cohesion that does not exist. As the dollar is used as a proxy weapon, the financial system is based on the proxy fire sector, which is not real, but the presence is. The U.S. The U.S. citizenry inadvertently acts as fodder for executing more empirical control democracy because they are brainwashed, educated, and sent out to create and shore up areas where empire is losing control. I only have to quote the Maidan in Ukraine, and watch Georgia. Wars are by proxy, and still today the proxy warriors are paid by a proxy financial system. Each time when the empirical control pill slips, it is artificially pump up. Zion lost against Hamas for heaven's sake, and they were kept alive until now, where they are part of a new artificial and proxy all-out domination attempt against Syria, and Syria is a cornerstone of the region. And there's more, but definitely I don't have time, Tommy. I'm sorry. You will not know the end.